welcome to our first webinar on the power of Trimble WorksManager. My name is Parsons. I'm SciTech Regional Sales Manager for the Southwest, and I'm joined by Dan Hamilton from Trimble, Software Specialist. We're going to go through the process of taking a design from Trimble Business Centre through to WorksManager. So I'll let you take over from here, Dan.
Okay, so what we have here is a basic design that's been approved for PVC. This is a plan view here. Looking at the 3D, you can see that we've got a surface. We have some line work involved with it. So those are the objects that are going to be sent over to the field. So first thing we need to do in WorksManager is to sync the project. This has already been done. So we need to have a project set up in WorksManager. We need to have it synchronized with TVC. And to do that, we can basically go to WorksManager project and we resolve this issue. The first two are the main ones. The next step is to create the WorksManager design.
So just to step in, WorksManager is a separate program to Trimble Business Centre. That's correct, isn't it?
Yes, WorksManager is a web-based platform, so it runs online.
Okay. And Business Centre is obviously a CAD-style program for creating designs.
Yeah, Business Centre is a Trimble product that we use to build the construction. So we take designs from the designers that may be PDF CAD files, and we can into 3D construction machines and survey rooms.
Okay, so we're taking this from a physical program on the computer out to a cloud-based platform.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm going to give this project a name. So I'm going to call it project 1, and I'm going to go okay. So as we're doing this, synchronizing everything, so you might see a bit of spinning of the wheel. I go to model now. So what this means is what surface do I pick. I have different types of surfaces here. For this project, I'm going to pick just a normal surface type. And then I go through and I pick out the surface that I want. And then I hit OK.
And these services that have all been created as part of the data prep process.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I can select setting out points if I want. So if I have a number of points in here that I want to set out using the survey rover, I can include them in this file. But I'm intending this file to be for machine control. So I'm just going to add a model surface, and I'm going to add a design map. So I'm going to hit plus minus on the design map. And I'm going to select all the line work here on the side. And I'm going to hit add.
So when we're saying the design map, it's just another way that we would typically call it line work.
Yeah, line work or background map.
Yeah. And these are selectable lines that are going to be on the model?
Yes, they will be.
As opposed to just an image?
Yes, and if I look at these lines here that I've selected, they're all 3D lines. I've also selected some 2D lines as well. These 3D lines here will show up in your machine as 3D lines.
Awesome.
So now if I hit publish,
so I presume that all of this plan can be done prior to the project actually starting on site, and it will all be uploaded and ready?
yes, you can. You can set the WorksManager project up before you go on site, publish all the designs, and then once your machine hits the site, they can then basically synchronize with WorksManager and ready to go.
That's pretty cool. So, there's no delay, it's all done, prepped, ready before the machines land on site. That's great.
Yeah. So now I can see the design was published successfully. So I hit OK. That is now sitting in the WorksManager. So now if I head over to WorksManager, I have my project all set up, ready to go. And inside this project, I already have a device running. This is my emulator that I have on my PC.
So, Dan, what's the blue line that's around the site?
blue line is the boundary, site boundary for the site. So when we set up a work management project, we need to enter in the site boundaries. So basically anything within this site boundary will report back to the work manager for this project. Okay, so now if I go look at designs here, this will show me the design that I've just published from TBC. I have a project here called a design for project 1. I can see this symbol. Now this symbol symbolizes that this was created on TBC. There are other symbols, so a shovel would be an earthworks or GCS 900 design, and a plumb bob would be a siteworks or SCS 900 design. But this one here from TBC can actually work on any device, whether it be earthworks, GCS 900, siteworks, or SCS 900. Now WorksManager will flip it into whatever file format it needs to be.
So that's kind of a universal file, but you can create files that specifically for loggers and files that specifically for machines.
You can, yes. Now you can see here that this is version 1 of the design. So if I were to change the design or republish the design from TBC, it would version up, and I'd have a version 2 of this project. So what happens there then is as I version up, that changes. My version 1 will move to archive, and then the operator on my machine, once it syncs up, will get a message to say the design's changed, and we'll need to go and change the design. As you see, when my design was last modified and modified.
So the machine operator gets a notification on the screen to say there is a new version of your design. And I presume the system will then, you'll know what design that guy's using.
Yeah, that will happen on
Okay.
So if I click on the design, I can see that it's currently published to all devices that are available in my project. Now I can edit this device list, and I can choose which devices I want to put this specific design on. So if I go over to the publish section here, I can see I have 3 devices in my project. I can choose now to only send this off to, say, my siteworks emulator and my earthworks emulator. My GCS 900 emulator will not get these files, basically.
Okay. So an example of that would be if we're working on a site that's running dozers and excavators and even compactors as well, we could segregate like the road box purely for the dozer to cut. Yeah, the drainage will be purely for the excavators, and the two don't get the same designs. Exactly. They get their own specific designs.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, that's good. So that eliminates confusion and lots of lists of different designs for each machine that aren't relevant to that machine.
Yeah.
Right, that's cool.
Now, if you do want to take a design off of the machines, for instance, you can click on here and you can actually archive the project if you want to keep it in WorksManager, but don't want to delete it, so you can archive it and then they won't be available to the machines, or you can delete it out of the project from here. So by archiving this makes it unavailable for the machines to use, but it can still be available to resurrect if you need it, or you can just delete it fully off of WorksManager. Going through the list down here now, we can add members to this project. So anyone want to be able to view this project in WorksManager and be able to send designs to machines, for instance, we can add in here just by hitting the add button here and adding an email address, which will then send that off to the person. Now, this can be anyone. You can add as many emails as you want.
This is going to be where on project-specific jobs you can have multiple projects running, and project managers for their individual projects are assigned. They can't see each other's. They only can interact with their own, along with the engineers, etc.
Yeah.
Foremen, that sort of thing. Right, okay.
Now, we touched on this earlier, but devices, so these are all the devices that are available for this project. Now, in this project, we have 3 lots of devices here. These are all about, these can now receive the designs that I send to this project, provided they're on the list that I set earlier. These can be added from your account. So the idea is you have all of your machines inside your account registered, and then as you start new projects up, you add your devices to them as needed.
Okay, so you have your complete asset list in WorksManager, but you can then pick the specific machines for that project.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's worth pointing out that as soon as these machines enter the boundary around that project, these files are then available. When they leave that boundary, they're no longer available to be downloaded. So that means that any machines that are on that project and leave to another job can't continue to use the old designs.
Yes.
Okay, that's cool. That's quite a useful tool.
Now, within this devices piece here, you can also access your remote support. So if you're in the office and an operator has an issue, you can actually log into their machine and see, different settings. You can also actually see their screen as well. So basically, if I log into a machine by clicking this button here, I will get the remote access screen. And this is what I can see here. I can see what job they're on, what design they're running. I can see all their onboard devices. So this is your GNSS receivers and things like that to make sure everything's connected correctly.
So that's quite interesting there, Dan, because we get a lot of people that might ring up to say, I'm going to go out to a machine because it's saying that it's off design or there's no GNSS corrections. But I guess from here, you can log on to the machine. So on the screen we're looking at now, I can see that he's got a radio connected and it is getting corrections. And I can see that the GNSS on the right-hand side there is of a low enough accuracy that I know it's getting corrections. So I can see from that screen there's quite a lot of information before we even leave to go to the office, to the site to look at this machine.
Exactly, yeah. You can do that. And then if an operator is having an issue with a command or something like that, they don't know how to offset a line, for instance, you can actually jump into monitor and you can actually see the operator's view as well. I'm not going to do that here because I'd have to log into the machine and the operator is actually working. So I'm going to leave them to it. But if the operator needed any training or any help, you can actually log in and see his screen as well.
So this potentially saving a lot of time and money going out to site to just look at what the operator's seeing on the screen when you can see it before you even leave. Another function I can see that's beneficial on this is switching from a base station to VRS. You can do that without even going to the site. You can add all those on there. You can, so that's really useful.
It's very handy. You can do a lot from the office and not even have to visit the site, for sure.
Yeah, well, most things that you do when you reach the machine is done in this web interface. And to have access to that before you even leave the office that's really valuable. I can see what job he's on, what design he's running. I can make sure all that's done. I can see all of his onboard devices are up to date. I can see what software version he's running. I can take a machine download screenshot, download to send on for support reasons. That's very valuable.
Definitely. So back into WorksManager. So the next one down is settings. Now this is where you can see what calibration file they're running in WorksManager and also what type of geodata it's running. So if you're running in the UK, if you're running a OS grid or Snake grid, for instance, you're going to need to have these GeoID files and shift grid files loaded in. So you can see which ones you're running. I can see here I'm running OSTN02, for instance. Project titles and time zones. And then down here we have the project boundary as well.
Okay, so that's interesting. So WorksManager supports OS 10.02 and 15, I presume?
Yes, definitely.
Perfect.
So if I needed to change this project boundary for any reason, for instance, I'd need to just hit the edit button and I can move those lines as I want. So I can change the project boundary as the project's going on.
That's pretty good. So if they win another phase, you can just expand it.
Exactly.
Awesome.
So that's WorksManager basically. So any machine now that's within that boundary and part of the project can now receive information as long as I have it set up to receive the information there. So I have my emulator running here and I can see that it's showing yellow. So I can click on my device here. I can see what device it is. I can see that it's running an old design and I can see that it's obviously reporting. So the idea is to make this green. I want it to be running the current version of a design. So what I need to do is basically give this guy a call up and say, you need to synchronize your logo. So what I'm going to do now is just synchronize my emulator.
So we can't see that on this screen, Dan, but I presume in the background you're going to do a synchronize, you pick the right design and we should see something change.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna change my project on my emulator and I'm gonna pick the right design and then I'm gonna load it up and we should see the device now changed to green.
So there's three states for it on here. There's grey, which means that the device isn't reporting anything, so it's turned off. And there's yellow to indicate that it's on, it's reporting, but it's the wrong design. And green will indicate that the device is using the correct design, most up-to-date design. This is going to become valuable when you have a larger project and you can see all of your machines across that project and know that they're all using the latest design possible.
Exactly. So I've loaded this up with the correct design now. So positional updates for SiteWorks and Earthworks is every 30 seconds. So every 30 seconds, you'll see a positional update and it should show you as well what design they're running at that stage as well.
So every 30 seconds?
Yeah.
So I presume when there's an engineer on site, for example, or a machine moving, you'll see that moving on the screen every 30 seconds?
Yes.
Well, that's good. Okay, so now you can see that that's changed to green. So we're now reporting back Project 1 version VO2.
Project 1 version
VO1.
VO1. Yes, that's the right, the correct version of the design now. Yeah. So if I were to now update this back in the office and change it to Project 1 version VO2, for instance, and the guy in the field had not updated for any reason, then this icon here would turn yellow and I would know he's using the wrong version of the design, in which case I could then get in touch with him and tell him that he's using the wrong version.
Okay, so far we've seen data going one way. I presume the engineer, the machine, they're all recording their own data as well. I presume that comes back as well. Yes,
it does. So if I record some information out on site, for instance, I'm just recording a couple of points. What I can do now is with my WorksManager or with my SiteWorks emulator, I can now synchronize this back to WorksManager. So I'm out in the field, I'm picking up some points, and I'm just going to synchronize this back to WorksManager now. So that means my SPJ file will synchronize back with WorksManager, which then could be taken out and dragged into TBC.
Yeah. So the way Trimble operate, we work on works orders, which are daily duties. So I think so you can create these and send those out to the engineer. So today your job is to do an OGL survey and give him instructions what to do, and those will come down to the the logger as well, and then the data will come back at the end of the day to create a surface from the information he's recorded. Equally, the machine has that option as well. The machine can record, can be given work orders and receive work order information back.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is useful.
So if I want to pull any information off of my logger that is out on site, I can pull it up in the devices list here. I can see a bit more information here as well. So something quite handy would be the field software type. So I can see that I'm running the latest version of software, and I can also see my warranty date if I have a warranty as well. So it really helps you keep up to date with your software versions. So if I want to see the field data here, I can just hit view. And that's going to pull up a list of all the information that I've got on the logger, all the SPJ files. So these are the job files that we have on the logger. So to download this, all I need to do is hit the plus button here and just hit download, which would then allow me to take this file and load it into TBC. So if I took this file here, so if I just drag this file off, and I'm going to drag it into TBC.
So if anyone's interested in learning a bit more about the business centre side of things, we do have the SciTech Training Academy, where we're offering courses on business centre. So it's worth contacting us if you want any more information regarding that.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Thanks for holding this, Carl.
So yeah, we're open for questions. We've got a question on the chat already about the maximum size of the project that's been tested with Trimble and the maximum machines and designs.
I guess I'd have to look a bit more into that one. I don't have a number, but for you, to be fair.
For a start, we can say you can currently order up to 200 devices for WorksManager. Not to say it's limited to that, but that at the moment we sell up to 200 devices.
Yeah, you can order over 200. So theoretically, it's unlimited, but you know, we haven't actually tested a maximum amount of machines and designs. We haven't reached a limit yet. So
if somebody's got a project large enough, we're happy to try it. That's for sure. Is there any other questions?
So there's a couple over on the Q&A as well. So there's one here. Can you set designs to be automatically uploaded to machines and old designs removed? Yes. So you can set up your machine to auto download, and currently the auto archive function is set to 3. So your first 3 designs is your latest 3 designs are on there, and it will take off any older than 3, basically. So that's what it's set at the moment. You can go onto WorksManager and archive any designs you want as well, and that'll automatically take them off the machines.
So there's one here. Will WorksManager be able to communicate with a CB460 running on a Trimble base? Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. So you need to have an S&M 941 or a modem, basically, and then you can run WorksManager with GCS 900. And Stuart, you might need to elaborate on your question there. Will remote assistant? You've hit enter too early.
Anything else?
Oh, it's in the chat. Do we need to... yeah, there's
I can't see
another one here. Grading 2 questions that are related to TBC and earthworks. First one, is the avoidance zone working? If so, what should be seen on the screen when the excavator is on or near the avoidance zone?
Yeah, we've got a 2D avoidance zone on the earthworks at the moment. So you should see, I think it's a red barrier around it. I'm not 100%, it's not something I do very often, but you know, we do have a 2D avoidance zone.
Okay. The second part of that question was, can the surface and 3D line work be merged or overlapped? You can certainly use 2D and 3D line work for a background map. Yeah, you can use both types of line work.
Yeah, we've got the ability now to change between layers as well. You can have different line work selections within.
Sorry, I've read that wrong. Can the surface and 3D line work be merged and overlapped? I'm not sure exactly what you're trying to ask there, but you can certainly drape your 3D your line work over a surface to make it 3D. You can certainly send off a design that has a surface and a 3D line work in it. So you'll be able to see line work and your surface as well. So my answer would be yes to that question.
So there's one here. Do the devices receive a similar warning to show that they're running out of a date model? They'll be notified when there's a new one, an updated model.
Yeah. So basically, they won't receive a warning to say they're running an out-of-date model, but what will happen is when that model does change, so you can basically take the old model away, and what will happen is the operator will get a warning to say your design's changed, please select the right one. And will remote assistant only work for Earthworks machines, or can GCS 900 machines access the WorksManager? So GCS 900 machines can be accessed with remote assistant, but the conditions need to be correct. So you need to have the right version of Java running. There's a few other things. So there is a bulletin about it. So you need to contact SciTech to get that bulletin, basically, to get your settings correct. But in short, yes, it does work with GCS 900.
Any other questions?
Interface with CAT PLE modem. So, I mean, you can use third-party modems. You don't have to use a 941, Dave. So, yeah, I haven't tried it with a CAT PLE 743 or 783. There are other modems that I know do work. So, I'm not sure on that model, Dave, but it doesn't have to be a 941. As long as we have connection to the internet.
A similar question with a cat present. Yeah, I think on one of the cat machines they can reroute the data through their own modem, but I'm not 100% on that. That's for sure.
Yeah, we'd have to take that offline, Dave, and have a look.
Okay, shall we wrap it up there then? Once again, thank you very much for everyone's attendance, and we shall look forward to speaking to you again soon. If there's any more details you need, please feel free to contact either myself or somebody from SciTech. We can cover this. Anyway, have a good day, everyone.
Thank you.